administration is a rabid dog.
I'd love
Okay, show the, like, I love this one of Trump.
Yeah.
It's real.
Trump is toast.
I like that one.
Trump is toast. Yeah, man.
And so you just kind of digest the news of the
it's
day.
It's an affirmation.
Favor. And here we have...
That's Space Force.
That's the Space Force, yeah.
That's the beginning of Space Force.
Working? Not working.
Oh, they got you coming and going, man. You know what I mean?
You know, it's not every day that a Hollywood comedian goes to war with a former president, but Jim Carrey, oh, he's all in. And this time, he's not just throwing a few playful jabs, he's going for the knockout punch. Yup, the rubber-faced king of comedy is back at it again, and his latest rant about Trump? It's brutal. We're talking scorched earth levels of destruction, folks. Carrey didn't just roast Trump, he set the whole kitchen on fire and walked away laughing. But wait, there's more. Jim Carrey didn't stop at words. Oh no, he's brought out the paintbrush again, creating a whole new series of merciless Trump-inspired artwork that's got both sides of the internet losing their minds. One side, cheering him on like he's a political gladiator. The other, frothing at the mouth, calling him a washed-up hack. So, what exactly did Carrey say? And why does it feel like the guy who once played the mask is trying to unmask an entire political movement? Stick around, because this is gonna be a wild ride. Alright, let's talk about the moment Jim Carrey decided to go nuclear on Trump. We all know Jim isn't just your average Hollywood celebrity. He's not just cracking jokes on late night shows or tossing out lukewarm political takes on Twitter. Nope, when Jim Carrey goes off, he goes off. And this time, he's not just criticizing Trump, he's tearing him apart like a rabid dog with a chew toy.
And it's turning us upside down, and all, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face, you know, but people have made these elections and politics in general who they are, and it's not who you are. You can make a bad decision about a candidate. It's not who you are.
Alright, so we've established that Jim Carrey isn't playing around, but let's talk about why this is such a big deal. See, when most celebrities throw shade at politicians, it's usually a one-off tweet or some half-hearted rant on an awards show stage. But Jim, he's turned it into a full-fledged crusade. This man isn't just tweeting about Trump, he's painting about him, talking about him in interviews, and treating this administration like a bad movie he can't stop reviewing. And let's be honest, Carrey isn't exactly subtle. He's called Trump a rabid dog, a melting candle, and a piece of toast that's been left in the toaster way too long. And while that's hilarious, it's also kind of terrifying, because Carrey isn't just cracking jokes. He's actually angry, like not Hollywood angry where some actor posts a moody black and white Instagram photo and calls it a day. No, no, no. Jim Carrey is foaming at the mouth, can't sleep at night, needs to exercise this anger through art angry. And here's the thing, this is personal for him. Carrey has made it crystal clear that he thinks Trump is doing more than just being a bad president. He believes Trump is ripping the country apart, turning people against each other, and lying so often that truth itself is becoming a joke. And let's be real, Jim Carrey knows a thing or two about jokes. So when he says Trump is turning the presidency into a circus, you better believe he's speaking from expert experience. But Carrey isn't just throwing out insults, he's making a bigger point. He believes Trump's leadership is setting a dangerous precedent, one where corruption, dishonesty, and division become the new normal. And honestly, he might have a point, because whether you love or hate Jim Carrey, you can't ignore him. He's turned his outrage into a movement, and at this point, he's not backing down.
Some good is coming out of this stuff. This is Robert Mueller.
Robert Mueller putting the squeeze on the president. Just to relieve the stress, you know what I mean? It's a stress reliever.
And here we have...
That's Space Force.
That's the Space Force.
Oh, but Jim Carrey didn't just stop at roasting Trump on Earth. He launched this feud into outer space. Because what do you do when you think the leader of the free world is an out-of-control cartoon villain? Well, if you're Jim Carrey, you slap him in a spaceship and blast him off into deep space. Yeah, you heard that right. Carrey's latest artistic masterpiece isn't just a mockery of Trump's presidency, it's a sci-fi nightmare. Imagine this, Trump floating aimlessly in space, surrounded by gold-plated McDonald's wrappers, half-finished executive orders, and a comically oversized MAGA helmet that doesn't even fit his head properly. It's like Star Wars meets Dumb and Dumber, only instead of Jedi Knights. We've got a guy who thinks windmills cause cancer steering the ship. And let's not forget, Carrey isn't just throwing paint on a canvas for fun. This is a statement. He's saying that Trump's leadership is so unhinged, so detached from reality, that at this point, he might as well be piloting a spaceship straight into a black hole of bad decisions. And honestly, that's one hell of a metaphor. Alright, at this point, you'd think Jim Carrey would have moved on. Maybe focused on a new movie, gone back to making people laugh, or, I don't know, painted something that wasn't a nightmarish Trump caricature. But nope, not happening. Because Carrey isn't just roasting Trump, he's making it his full-time job. We're talking about a guy who's been famous for decades, starred in some of the biggest comedies of all time, and could literally do whatever he wants. But instead of sitting back and enjoying his Hollywood millions, he's out here cranking out anti-Trump cartoons like a one-man political meme factory. And these aren't just some half-baked sketches, no. Carrey is putting serious effort into this. These paintings are detailed, brutal, and, let's be honest, borderline obsessive. At this point, it's not even just about Trump. It's about Carrey versus Trump, and neither of them is backing down. Carrey's throwing every insult in the book. Trump? Well, Trump probably hasn't even acknowledged any of this, but that doesn't matter, because Carrey won't stop. And here's the thing, whether you think he's a brilliant satirist or just a Hollywood actor with too much free time, you can't deny that he's committed. Some comedians throw in a quick joke about Trump and call it a day. Jim's out here painting entire political sagas. And if you think he's running out of material, think again.
Now, a lot of people don't know that that's Ryan and Nunez are the flying monkeys.
Okay.
Perhaps I wasn't detailed enough to.
And then Lincoln is then there?
He was my
Lincoln crying.
Lincoln symbolizes.
I love
for me
that because Trump is always
a president that actually, had the worst tribulations our country's ever faced and brought us together.
Now, you might be thinking, is this all just one big joke to Jim Carrey? A Hollywood star having a little fun at Trump's expense? Nope, Carrey isn't just drawing funny little cartoons, he's furious. This isn't Ace Ventura cracking wise in a Hawaiian shirt. This is a man who believes Trump is tearing the country apart, and he's using every tool at his disposal to fight back. And let's be real, he's not holding back. Carrey has called Trump a rabid dog. He's accused Trump of teaching an entire generation that lying is normal, that morality, facts, and even reality itself don't matter anymore. And the worst part? He thinks it's working. In Carrey's eyes, we're all being babysat by the media, force-fed a 24/7 reality show where Trump is the main character, and nobody is changing the channel. This isn't just a bad presidency to Jim Carrey, it's a crisis. And if there's one thing he wants, it's for people to wake up. And the way he's going about it, by throwing every punch he can with the sharpest weapon he's got, his own twisted, unfiltered imagination. At this point, Jim Carrey isn't just making art. He's sounding the alarm. See, Carrey isn't just saying Trump is bad, he's saying Trump is dangerous. Not just for politics, not just for the economy, but for the entire country's moral compass. And if you think that sounds dramatic, well, so does Jim. Carrey sees a generation growing up on dishonesty, learning that lying gets you ahead, that bullying makes you powerful, and that if you shout loud enough, you never have to admit when you're wrong. In his eyes, this isn't just about Trump, it's about the future, the kind of world we're leaving behind. And to Carrey, it looks a lot less like the land of the free, and a whole lot more like a bad reality show with no season finale in sight. And here's the kicker, he's not laughing anymore. The man who built a career on over-the-top, ridiculous, rubber-faced comedy isn't even cracking a smile. He's worried, and when a guy whose whole life was about making people laugh suddenly isn't laughing at all, that's when you know he's dead serious.
It doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you're different. I can break bread with anybody in this country. I love people in this country. I love the heartland of this country. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with it's become obvious that the choice was a bad one.
And here's where Jim Carrey really lets loose. It's not just that he thinks Trump was a bad president. He thinks the choice itself was a catastrophe, a mistake so obvious, so undeniable, that looking back, he can't believe people didn't see it coming from a mile away. To Carrey, this wasn't just a bad decision. It was like grabbing a live grenade and hoping it would make a good paperweight, and now the damage is done. Carrey believes Trump didn't just fail as a leader, he shattered something deeper. The way we talk to each other, the way we handle truth, the way we even define reality. To him, the whole country got played like a cheap comedy sketch, and the punchline wasn't funny at all. And if you think Jim Carrey is dramatic about this, Well, yeah, of course he is. This is a guy whose entire life has been about big reactions, exaggerated emotions, and making sure everyone in the room knows exactly what he's feeling. And what's he feeling now? Frustration, anger, disbelief. Because to Jim, this should be obvious, the way he sees it. The whole thing was a bad joke from the start, only nobody got the joke until it was too late.
Now, the opposite is happening right now. We have a president who started out when the country was together and had a wonderful leader, and he is tearing us limb from limb,
Well,
destroying every institution.
let's talk about this Donald Trump, even though we don't want to. Let's bring it on the panel for this.
He's a car salesman. He's a used
con
car
man,
salesman.
absolutely.
And he's, you know, he didn't make America great again, but he did turn back the odometer.
So, according to Jim, Trump didn't make America great again, but he did turn down the herbometer, whatever that means. Translation, he didn't fix a damn thing. He just made everything louder, crazier, and more ridiculous. And Carrey's not holding back. He thinks Trump didn't lift America up. He dragged it through the mud and called it gold. Instead of leading, he ran a reality show. Instead of bringing people together, he made division the whole brand. And let's be honest, what did Trump actually accomplish? The economy? Messy, the pandemic response, a train wreck, America's reputation, in the gutter, national unity, completely shredded. But somehow half the country still cheers for him like he's the underdog in a Rocky movie. And that's what has Carrey really worried. Because in his eyes, Trump didn't just shake things up, he rewrote the rules. The lies are bigger, the standards are lower, and the people who should be holding him accountable, they're either too scared or too deep in the circus to care anymore. So yeah, maybe Trump didn't make America great again, but he did turn the whole thing into a spectacle, and according to Carrey, that might just be the biggest con of all. And here's where Jim really digs in. See, Carrey doesn't just think Trump was bad at being president. He thinks the whole thing was one giant distraction. A big, loud, chaotic circus act designed to keep people from noticing what was really happening. According to Jim, while everyone was arguing over tweets, fighting over headlines, and getting lost in the daily scandals, the real damage was being done behind the scenes. Billionaires got richer. The environment took a back seat, corruption got swept under the rug, and truth completely lost all meaning. And that was the real goal all along, because in Carrey's eyes, Trump didn't just run the country, he ran a show, a non-stop chaos machine that kept people glued to their screens, too outraged, too distracted, and too exhausted to fight back. And now that the cameras have moved on, the damage is done. To Jim, it's like America got hit with a hypnotist trick, and by the time the country snapped out of it, the stage was already empty, and the guy holding the pocket watch was halfway to the bank.
Is that nobody's ever done a better job than I'm doing as president. He says, how can you...
Job of what? Job of what? Demolition Man?
Right.
And there it is. Trump actually said it. Nobody has done a better job at being president than me. Now, if Jim Carrey had any coffee in his mouth when he heard that, you better believe it would have been spit halfway across the room. Because to him, that's like a chef burning down the kitchen and calling it a 5-star meal. Like a pilot nosediving into the ocean and saying, "Smooth landing, folks." Like Ace Ventura solving a case by accident and setting the whole city on fire. Jim's looking around like, wait, are we living in the same timeline? Are we watching the same movie? Because last time he checked, things weren't exactly rolling out the red carpet for Trump's presidential highlight reel. But that's the thing about Trump. He's always the hero of his own story. Doesn't matter what actually happened. Doesn't matter what the facts say. In his mind, he's the comeback king, the underdog champion, the undefeated heavyweight of American politics. And Jim, he thinks it's one of the greatest performances of all time. Not as president, but as an illusionist. So, there you have it, folks. Jim Carrey's not just making funny faces anymore. He's making a point. Love him or hate him, you can't deny he's got something to say. But what do you think? Is Carrey onto something, or is he just another Hollywood loudmouth? Sound off in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one.